Hi, I'm Jemma. I'm a Melbourne-based filmmaker. What made me want to get into filmmaking? That's funny. I can't really remember making. Yeah, I feel like it was like a choice I made when I was like 14. Like I was just like, I didn't have TV growing up because I grew up overseas in a small country called Solomon Islands and moved to Australia when I was 10. So hadn't really seen much TV or movies or anything. And then I came here and was like, what is this? Was just like so into going to the movies, like being in a cinema. And like I was like enraptured by it all. Initially thought I wanted to be an actor because I thought like those are the people you can see. And then I tried drama in high school and was like, oh, I hate being in front of an audience so much. I hate it. And then I like noticed, you know, the people that had written the plays and like the director who was directing us. I was like, I like what they're doing. And just picked up a little camera when I was a teenager and made little short films with like my sister mostly, being dragged into acting in them. And it was just like, yeah, I found the thing I love doing. I'm going to do this. So how I got into film was probably just, I think after high school, I wanted to do a Bachelor of Filmmaking. I wanted to go to film school in some way. So that was just kind of, I think coming out of high school and like I was living in rural Australia up in Darwin and there wasn't that many opportunities in Darwin. So I was like, I think I'm going to head to a bigger city and I'm going to go to a film university where I can study it in some way. So I just like researched film courses down here. And it's all sort of stemmed from starting at university. I think it's just like met people at university that sort of got me into like some roles and like some jobs and just sort of, yeah, just kind of kept doing it and just like sticking around. I feel like that was like how I got initially in any way, was definitely, yeah, doing some sort of film studying. Yeah. First film I made, probably when I made in high school will probably be one that's terrible. But it was like, yeah, it was like, again, I'd forced my little sister to be in it. I entered it into like competitions and stuff and then like won some prizes and I got into the NT News, which is hilarious if anyone knows what the NT News is. So I had a like a whole article and a photo of me being a filmmaker in the NT News. So that was like my first taste of fame. What's the vision that I bring? What's the vision I bring to my work? It's actually quite hard to say because it's almost like something you can think about afterwards. You know, when you look back on stuff that you've done, you're like, oh, I do kind of do this or I pick this or like something I've noticed in only the last couple of years is I tend to like be drawn to outsider stories or like people who are like the excluded from something in some way. Like I really relate to that. And like a lot of the characters I love, I think feel like they don't belong, they don't fit in. But it's really hard to say what my vision is because like I'm not really sure what it is yet, and I'm still figuring out as I go like what I want to say with the things that I make. And it's like I feel like I have a lot bursting out of me that I do want to say, but I don't know how to like distill it down yet. Like I'm still figuring out the way to like communicate it and like what is it that I want to say, like, but there's something about being left out and being like excluded or on the outside of a community or being alone. There's stuff in that's like that hits stuff that I really care about and that I think I want to explore. But yeah, I still feel a little bit like young and like stupid. I'm still figuring it out. Favorite film I've made so far? Oof. It's usually the last thing I've made is like my favorite thing, because you're so self-critical that like as soon as you look back on something you made a couple of years ago, you're like, what? Look at all the mistakes and all the error, like all the little, pick it apart and criticize it. I really love, a short film I made. Oh no, I made a great web series last year, which was bizarre, called Meet the Mullets, and it was like a 5-episode web series with a comedy group called the Traveling Sisters, who do like essentially like clown comedy, like physical comedy, and it's very like Kath and Kim taken to 100 or something. Like it's all wigs and they're all like playing sort of Australian, like real Australian, like I don't know, stereotypical sort of like you recognize the people that they're inhabiting. And so the Mullet boys were the main characters in it, and it's just really funny, and like it's about the Mullet boys and their mums, and the Traveling Sisters play the boys and the mums, and they have a different wig and a different different outfit, and like it was so silly and fun, and we did that while we were in lockdown, so that was really like challenging, but really rewarding getting to do that. It's hard to pick, but that was one of the last things I made, so that's probably it for now.
Sense to digitise the process. With the power of modern technology, we can create a productive process that is virtual reality. It's virtually theatre. Rich, absorbent theatre is just 1 gigabyte away. You can take the actor out of the theatre, but you can't take the acting out of the actor. I could be acting right now.
Currently working on, so at the moment I've been in development on this really fantastic television show called Sweet and Sour with 3 other writers, Eugenie Muggleton, Annie Teely and Rohan D'Souza. And we're writing this show about what it's like to be a halfie, which is Annie's the sort of creator of the show, and she's half Chinese, half Australian, and wants to explore the sort of like the duality of that identity and like growing up in Australia. And it's really funny and sad. It's such a great concept. So I've got that, and I'm also writing a horror movie, which I really want to make because I love comedy and then I love horror, like the two extremes. They're my favorite genres. And then also I work as an advertising director. So I'm shooting and editing projects for work as well. So just did a cool shoot for the CFA this week, which was great. So that's, got a lot of things going on. So I studied film at Swinburne Uni here in Melbourne. I did 4 years, I think it was, for a degree. That was really good. It was like the best sort of place to meet people. I definitely met people that I still collaborate with, like at Swinburne, and have met like long-time collaborators that have like come out of those relationships basically, and gotten into work and things from that. So it was like really good for networking and just getting like, because the first couple of short films you make are terrible, you got to get them out of the way, and it's great to do it at a safe place like a university, because it's just like, okay, it doesn't matter too much, and with like everybody sort of pitches in and like works unpaid, and everyone volunteers on everyone else's shoots, and you help each other out. So it's a great place to just like have a go, and it's like quite safe, and like there's not too much risk involved. So it's like, it's good for experimenting and like, okay, cool, this is a safe place to do that. But yeah, it was good. Very hands-on, practical kind of stuff. So yeah. 3 filmmakers that inspire me. Oh, it changes all the time. So I don't want to be held to these forever, for sure. They'll be like different next week. Currently, I'm very inspired by Chloe Zhao at the moment. She's amazing. I've seen some really great stuff lately. Like Michael Haneke is an old school, super inspirational filmmaker for me. Forever, for all of time, Michael Haneke will be a big inspiration for me. And then, I don't know, what was I watching the other day? I love some Australian filmmakers as well. I don't know the filmmaker, but I've watched that movie Bad Boy Bubby like so many times, and it's the weirdest. I love that movie. I'm blanking on the director's name, but yeah. Anyway, I watched that recently. It's so weird. I love it. I love Muriel's Wedding. 3 films that inspire me. So I kind of was already listing films before because I couldn't remember the directors. Because I have so many, and then it's like, what do you pick? It's like picking all my favorite babies. Look at them all. Aren't they awesome? All-time favorites, Little Miss Sunshine. I love Brick, which is, what's his face? Ryan Johnson's. Love that one. Those are 2 American filmmakers as well, and I really love European and Asian cinema as well. So like, it's so hard to pick. Wong Kar-wai. Oh my god. I can't. It hurts me too much. The biggest challenge that faces the Australian film industry, not that I'm going to be able to sit here and solve it with you. I'd love to. I feel like there's a lot of challenges. One in particular is like, for example, at the moment, we've all been through a pandemic last year and it continues into this year. It's like 2021, middle of 2021, and we're still having issues with lockdowns and things. And the government support for film and screen has just been inadequate to help us bounce back from such a hard year, because we couldn't shoot, no one could shoot, and the lockdowns were the best thing for the whole community, but it was like the support after that for like the arts and screen funding in general has just been like not there. It just hasn't been there to help everybody bounce back. So I think our industry will have suffered, and I don't even think we've felt the full effects of it yet. I think it's going to be a couple of years before we see the full knock-on effects of having like had almost 2 years of sometimes having a shoot, taking it away, cancelling it, rescheduling it. Like that costs money, and it's like people's jobs and their families and stuff have been affected by it. So I think that's going to be a big challenge to overcome. There's lots of things, so many things that need help, that we need to work on. Yeah. Biggest challenge I've personally encountered. I feel like it's hard when you don't know how the way things work to figure out how to get paid for the work that you're doing. So like finding paid work, I think that's like an endlessly forever challenging thing in film or television or advertising, whatever, wherever you end up going. It's really hard to find that, and it's like the thing that I did was I sort of just accepted anything and everything to do with the industry. So like working as a production runner, or like working as an admin person in an office that was a film, production company. You know what I mean? I was just like looking for any way to sort of find a way, and there isn't one way. That's the annoying thing. It's not like I can be like, here's the answer to get paid work. It's like it's really hard because it's like small and protected sort of group of people that get all the sort of grant money and get the jobs and get the paid jobs, and once you're in, but when you're out, you're out. And it's like really hard it was hard for me anyway. That was definitely a big challenge, like find sort of like income from directing or I kind of like, I was video editing as well, so like kind of found ways to like get paid for video editing, and then like was shooting a bit more, and then like got paid for shooting, and then now I'm starting to get actually paid for directing, which is nice. But it took a while, and I've seen all my friends struggle with it in different ways and all different crew roles in finding paid work. I think that's like a really hard, big thing that everybody has to figure out. So yeah, that was probably the biggest challenge, is just like finding a way to make money, and then also doing the sort of the love work, the passion work on the side, which also takes up so much time.
If the test doesn't have a sexuality, how can it be gay?
Students and staff, we will now be having a fire drill.
That was an impeccable fire drill. I just hope that in a real situation, you would leave the building before me prompting you.
Oh.
Some of you may have figured it out, but that was in fact a test. But you know that when you hear the alarm, that's when you leave the building.
Shortly we will be testing the fire alarm. This is just a test. Do not assemble on the basketball court.
Congratulations for assembling on the basketball court. You know that when you hear the alarm, only when you hear the alarm, that is when you leave the building.
Attention everyone, the fire alarm is broken and there is an actual fire. Forget your training and disobey me. Leave the building. I repeat, you must leave.
Would I move overseas for my career? Yeah, I would move overseas if there was a project, or like maybe a kind of reason, or something like an opportunity or something for some reason. I think Australia is a great place to I think to like start, because like it's sort of like a bit like, who are you? You know, if you rock up overseas, it's like, who are you? Why would you be able to get work over here? Which is fair enough. So I've noticed like other Australian filmmakers seem to like kind of get a career going here and like establish themselves a bit in Australia before sort of going overseas, taking projects in London or LA or whatever. And I think that's like really lucky if you get offered something like that. Like that's amazing. I would go overseas to live just for me. Like I would just go live in Berlin or whatever, you know, somewhere for fun. But for the career, it's already like hard. So like, I don't know how I'd go in like London or LA. I think people would be like, who are you? But sure, yeah, would love it. My process for choosing actors, well, you know, it sort of depends. Changes project to project almost every time. It's different. If I have full sort of control over production, then it's like, then I have like full control over the casting. But if I've been brought on, say for example, like the ClickView shoot or like an Aunty Donna shoot, there's already an established sort of cast, or like they've already usually sort of picked or cast the actors because it's being produced by other people. So, you know, I'm just being brought on as a director or whatever. So that's kind of different. But if it's my shoot, then I kind of do a few things. Like I'll go to acting classes. When I cast actors in my uni short films, I went to acting classes and just like attended acting classes and like audited them so I could just watch, because like I'm not an actor. But I just met actors and like hung out at I hung out at Peter Carlos's acting school. He does a bunch of method, which is like super intense, but it was like cool to watch how he works with actors and stuff. 16th Street as well, like just kind of like roved around, met actors socially as well, and then like you kind of you find people that like have the thing that you like. It's like whatever it is, you know, you like see it and you're like, yes, you. Yeah, it's actually kind of like, it's pretty hard. It's almost serendipitous when you find the right actors. You're like, oh thank God. Auditions are awful for everyone. I feel like everyone always has a bad time. But sometimes you need them because you just like, you're looking to trust each other. Like the acting director relationship's about trust. So it's like, I want to believe in you, and I need to see it before we rock up to the shoot, and I know you're not going to like freeze or something. I just need to, and plus just a little working together too, because in auditions you get to do a little bit of working. So it's like you can see how they react and respond to the things you say, and it's like a two-way street too. I think you communicate, like you need to be able to understand each other and like get a what's that word I'm trying to say? Rapport. Yes, thank you. You're trying to like speak each other's languages. You know what I mean? Like really. It's tricky. It's hard finding good actors. Or ones, not good actors, but like ones that you will like work together well with. But yeah. So the question was, do I believe giving unknown actors a chance? Yes, definitely. Like, do actors believe in giving unknown filmmakers a chance? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, of course. Like, you never know what someone like. I definitely think unknown actors should get chances in, particularly in Australian movies. But it's sort of like, I think it gets to the point, say if you're casting for a feature film or whatever, that financiers and producers are like, we need to be able to sell this. Who can we, like, what names can we put into this? Because names seem to equate money for some reason. But I also think like, luckily with genre and things like that, like horror in particular, I really appreciate horror genre because I feel like audiences will show up to a horror film and not really know any of the actors, and kind of they'll rock up because they like horror, which is kind of cool. I think things like dramas are harder with that because people, for some reason, like in TV as well, want to know, like, I don't know, it seems like the actors add weight to the show. It makes it something like, oh, maybe I will watch that. Which I notice myself doing as well. Like I'm flicking through Netflix or Binge or whatever, and I'm like, oh, such and such is in. Oh, I should check that out. So like, I get it. But yeah, I would love to work with unknown actors and whatever. You know, I think it's not so much the issue. It's like, are you the right fit with me, and are you the right fit with the role? And like, there's a few sort of things that kind of happen before you're like, yes, you're it, you're the person. But yeah, it's tricky. Acting's really hard. Sometimes you find someone who's amazing and you're like, why aren't they famous? They're like amazing. There's so many actors I know in Melbourne that I'm like, they're fucking incredible. There's some amazing actors in Melbourne, and it's just like, I don't understand why you haven't been able to find a way into being a paid actor. But it's like, oh, it's such a small percentage that actually get like careers in acting. It's so hard. So yeah. So some dream actors that I'd love to work with would be all these women that I just saw in an actors roundtable. So like Gillian Anderson, Sarah Paulson, she's so good. Elizabeth Olsen, Cynthia Erivo, who I haven't seen but looked amazing in it, MJ Rodriguez, and Anya Taylor-Joy, who's in The Queen's Gambit and who's like stunning. I didn't realize she was in The Witch. I'd like totally, she was so young in The Witch that I didn't even recognize her when I was watching Queen's Gambit. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, Toni Collette, some like, there's male actors too. They're always like secondary in my head. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna write movies about women. So.
Hey, Tim, can we talk about the scene?
Yeah, sure.
I was thinking maybe we got the point of this scene wrong. Maybe it's not about Terry Tuna Toes eating too many oysters or feeling ashamed because he can't stop himself. Maybe it's about him learning to be in control of his temptation rather than letting it control him? What if it's about Terry acknowledging that he has a problem and talking to people he trusts about it?
Yeah, I think maybe you're right.
So yeah, a technique I feel like that I've learned to do with, say, with directing, for example. I think something I've learned about directing is when I was younger, I used to direct the result. So like when I would communicate what I wanted, I was telling the actor what the end result was. I was like, I want you to be sadder, or say that funnier, or like, and now I've realized what I need to do is I need to give them something they can actually do that results in it being funnier. So like, can you be picking your ear the whole time you're talking to her? And like, it just is funnier. Like if you give them something that you're both together making the result happen, if that makes sense. So it's like actionable action is more useful than saying like, be sadder when you say that. Like it's just, you can't just go, okay, be sadder. So that's something I've learned, is just like really working on the way I communicate, because that's really all you're doing as a director, is you're just communicating and just trying to understand each other, you know. And so that's something I worked out, that I was like, oh, I need to give them the thing to get to the thing, not just tell them what to do. Oh, there's probably like 100. Favorite on-set memory? Oh, a million. Oh, there's so many. Oh, I love, I think it's more the people. I remember the people that I have like lifelong friendships with now. So yeah, it's definitely like my whole friend group has started to centered around filmmaking for a while. And just finding like your tribe of filmmakers that you like can rant to when things go wrong, or like tell when you have really exciting news, and like you work with each other and you collaborate and go through hard things. And I love all the people that I've met. They're probably more connected to the memories. It's the people for sure. Ooh, what advice do I give? I think I always think everyone who wants to do filmmaking should do it, because I feel like I was teaching a short course at RMIT for a while, and it was just like basics of filmmaking, like shooting on an iPhone, like how do you make this look good or look better than, you know, and I met so many passionate people who were just doing like a short course, who like wanted to start a YouTube channel, or like wanted to do, like, I feel like digital media has made it so that anyone can have a go at filmmaking, anyone can like work on those skills. And I think it's like really important communication medium, like video, like almost as important as writing and reading. And it's another way of communicating with like a group of people that's really impactful. And I'm really happy that so many people have access to it, that like so many different people sort of makes it like equality in a way, that anyone can pick up an iPhone and shoot something and upload a video to YouTube. I love that. So I feel like anyone who wants to do it should do it. But also there's like the challenge that I mentioned with like getting paid work and finding a career in it is still pretty difficult, particularly in Australia. I'm not sure what it's like elsewhere, but so with that, finding paid work, I'd say collaborating and networking have been the most important things that have gotten me into paid jobs. And it's about being sort of like being pleasant as well, you know, with people. So it's like if you're kind of an asshole on set, I don't know how well you'll go in this industry, because it's just like, it's already a challenge getting there. So it's like, kind of, when you do get there, being respectful, being professional, and then you get called back again, and you get called back again for the next job, and then maybe they pass your details on to another person because you were great, and then you get the next job. And it's just building that. But it's also like, if you have to have that part-time job at working at the cafe, or like doing whatever you need to do, like, that's totally fair as well, because like, I know how like scary it is not having sort of like guaranteed income and things like that. So freelancing and things is really stressful for some people. So like, yeah, totally get it when it's like too scary of a step to like full-time filmmaking. You know, it's really scary. So I think, yeah, like, I don't think we have to have all these, I don't know, labels and things. I think anyone can be a filmmaker, and anyone can pick up a camera and make something. So if you want to, you should do it.